Have you started to notice a new and unwelcome change in your vision lately? Perhaps the light seems a little too intense, the text on your phone appears blurred, or you find yourself avoiding driving at night altogether. Is it because you simply don't want to, or because the glare has become so disorienting that it feels too dangerous? Do you find yourself instinctively rubbing your eyes, convincing yourself it's just a fleeting sign of fatigue? Let me assure you it's not. What you might be experiencing is the gradual, silent onset of cataracts, a condition that slowly clouds your vision and makes the simplest daily tasks feel unnecessarily difficult. And what most people fail to realize is that this isn't a sudden event. It's a process that chips away at your freedom, one blurry moment at a time. Have you stopped trying to read the small print on labels? Do you find yourself missing your grandchild's wave from across the yard? Or have you begun to skip social gatherings because it's just too hard to recognize faces in a crowded room? Before you know it, your world can start to feel dimmer. But this isn't because of age. It's because of a condition that no one prepared you for. As a doctor who has spent 30 years working with older adults, I know exactly how this feels. I've seen this exact story unfold in my office countless times. But here's the truth that gives me hope every single time: there are tangible, natural ways to slow down and even potentially reverse this process. No invasive surgery, no risky treatments, just the right kind of food. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 potent fruits that can support your eyes from the inside out. These are fruits that many people walk right past in the grocery store, completely unaware that they could be the difference between a future of clear vision and one of total dependence. I will break down everything into simple, practical steps you can follow. If you are new here, I want to personally welcome you to Senior Health Secrets. If this message resonates with you, please consider subscribing. It's a free step that helps us reach more people just like you. Now let's begin with the very first fruit that can give your eyes the vital protection they so desperately need. Let's start with a fruit so common that its power is often completely overlooked: the orange. For years, I have seen my patients view oranges as nothing more than a simple fruit for a cold or a snack for their grandchildren. But what if I told you that the very orange sitting on your kitchen counter could be the key to preventing the need for cataract surgery? You see, oranges are incredibly rich in vitamin C, and this vitamin isn't just good for your immune system, it is absolutely crucial for the health of your eyes. The lens of your eye, the part that helps you focus and see clearly, is extremely sensitive to oxidative stress. This damage is caused by factors like sunlight pollution and the natural aging process itself. Over time, this stress can cause the proteins within your lens to clump together, leading to cloudiness. That cloudiness, my friend, is a cataract. Vitamin C is one of the few nutrients that can effectively slow this clouding process down. It works by neutralizing harmful free radicals before they can damage your lens tissue. To put it simply, it helps keep your lens clear so you can continue to see clearly. Now here's a crucial point that most people don't realize. Your eye doesn't produce or store vitamin C very well. It requires a constant, steady supply from your diet, and that's where oranges truly shine. In fact, a landmark study from the Westmead Institute for Medical Research in Australia followed more than 2,000 adults over a 15-year period. They found that those who regularly consumed oranges had their risk of developing cataracts reduced by a remarkable 33%. That is a significant difference, and it doesn't require any medication or a single clinic visit, just the right fruit. I recall a patient named Linda, a 68-year-old woman who came into my office frustrated that her eyes felt constantly dull and tired. She told me she hated driving at night and needed much brighter lighting just to read. When we discussed her diet, she admitted that she rarely ate fresh fruit. I recommended one very simple change: adding an orange, or even half of one, to her breakfast each day. 3 months later, she returned with a big smile. "I still need my reading glasses," she told me. but my eyes don't feel heavy anymore. And I even drove home last week at 7 p.m. without a problem. Was it just the orange? Of course not. But it was a crucial first step, a shift in the right direction. Beyond vitamin C, oranges also contain bioflavonoids, which improve blood circulation to your eyes, delivering essential oxygen and nutrients more efficiently. This is especially vital as we age, and our natural circulation begins to slow. So how can you best incorporate oranges into your routine? It's simple. Eat about half to a whole orange each day. The whole fruit is always best, not store-bought juice, which often causes your blood sugar to spike. If you have diabetes or pre-diabetes, eat it along with a few walnuts or after a protein-rich breakfast to minimize the sugar spike. Even better, try blending half an orange into a green smoothie. Don't overthink it. This isn't about becoming a fruit fanatic. It's about giving your body and your eyes the very nutrients they have been missing for years. Small, consistent choices are where true healing begins. Up next, we'll talk about a tropical fruit most people forget about, but it could be the missing piece in your vision protection routine. Now let's discuss a fruit that rarely gets the attention it deserves, even though it absolutely should: papaya. This fruit is soft tropical and often passed over in favor of more familiar choices like apples or bananas. But for the health of your eyes, especially after the age of 60, papaya might be one of the smartest foods you can eat. Why? Because papaya is packed with beta-carotene, vitamin C, lutein, and a unique enzyme called papain. All of these work together to help protect your eyesight and slow down the progression of cataracts. Let me explain exactly how. First, beta-carotene is the plant-based form of vitamin A, which your body uses to maintain the surface of the eye and improve night vision. This is particularly important for seniors who often struggle with driving after sunset or seeing clearly in low-light conditions. Next, papaya is rich in lutein, a compound that helps filter out blue light, the kind that comes from sunlight and digital screens. Blue light is a known contributor to lens damage and cataract formation. Lutein acts like a natural filter, absorbing this harmful light before it can reach the delicate tissues inside your eye. And then there's papain, the natural enzyme found in papaya. This one is a bit different. Papain helps your body break down proteins during digestion. While that may not sound directly related to your eyes, here's the connection. When protein digestion is poor, undigested proteins can accumulate in the body and potentially contribute to the clouding of your lens. Therefore, supporting your digestion even indirectly can help support your vision. I had a patient named George, a 71-year-old retired plumber. He came to see me because everything had started looking foggy, especially in the mornings. He hated the feeling that his vision was aging faster than the rest of him. When I looked at his diet, I noticed he was low on antioxidant-rich fruits. I recommended something incredibly simple: half a papaya 3 times a week. He looked at me as if I were joking. "That's it?" he asked. 2 months later, George came back and said something I will never forget. "It's like someone wiped the fog off my glasses, but from the inside." That's the kind of profound difference that small, consistent changes can make. Now, if you're wondering how to include papaya in your day, it's easy. Look for a papaya that's slightly soft to the touch, with a rich orange-red flesh. That's when it's most ripe and full of nutrients. Scoop out the seeds, they're edible, but don't offer any specific benefit for your eyes. Slice it up and enjoy it fresh as a morning snack, or blend it into a smoothie with a little plain yogurt. Just one thing to keep in mind: papaya is naturally sweet. If you have pre-diabetes or diabetes, eat it after a protein-rich meal, or pair it with a boiled egg, or a few almonds. This way, your blood sugar stays stable while your eyes get the nutrients they need. This isn't about eating exotic fruit every day. It's about giving your body what it quietly needs and giving your eyes the chance to stay sharp and strong. Next, we'll explore one of the tiniest fruits in the world. But don't be fooled by its size. It may be one of the most powerful defenders against vision loss you'll ever find. Now, let's turn our attention to a fruit that may be small, but it carries an enormous impact when it comes to protecting your eyes: blueberries. These tiny, deep blueberries are one of nature's most concentrated sources of anthocyanins, plant compounds responsible for their rich color, and more importantly, their powerful effect on oxidative stress and blood flow in the eyes. You see, one of the biggest drivers behind cataract formation is oxidative damage. Just like metal rusts when exposed to oxygen. And moisture your eye tissues can break down under long-term exposure to light toxins and inflammation. Blueberries combat this through their high antioxidant content, particularly anthocyanins and polyphenols. Anthocyanins perform two critical functions for aging eyes. First, they protect the lens by neutralizing free radicals before they can damage or distort the proteins inside. This helps delay the clumping of those proteins, the very clumps that form the cloudy film we know as cataracts. Second, anthocyanins improve microcirculation in the tiny capillaries of the eye. This is especially important because the eye relies on a precise delivery of oxygen and nutrients to maintain its clarity and focus. As we age, our circulation naturally weakens, and poor blood flow means less repair, less resilience, and more damage. Blueberries help keep that system running efficiently. There is also evidence that anthocyanins support the regeneration of rhodopsin, a pigment found in the retina that is essential for seeing in low light. This is one reason why people who consume more blueberries often report better contrast sensitivity and sharper night vision. But what makes blueberries even more remarkable is how bioavailable their nutrients are. In other words, your body doesn't have to work hard to absorb them. Unlike some antioxidants that require fat to be digested or specific enzymes to be activated, the compounds in blueberries get to work fast and they go exactly where they're needed. In a 2010 study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, researchers found that regular blueberry consumption increased retinal protection and reduced markers of inflammation in older adults. The study also noted improved lens transparency in individuals with early-stage cataracts. And unlike supplements that often isolate just one nutrient, blueberries deliver their benefits in a complete food package, meaning the fiber, water, and other phytonutrients all work together in perfect harmony. If you're wondering how to add them to your diet, fresh is always best, but frozen is still an excellent option, especially when they are not in season. A small handful, about half a cup per day, is enough. You can mix them into plain yogurt, add them to oatmeal, or enjoy them alone as a simple afternoon snack. The key is consistency. One serving won't make a difference overnight, but a habit of eating blueberries just a few times a week could help protect your vision for years to come. Mangoes are often considered nothing more than a sweet tropical indulgence, something to enjoy in the summer or blend into a smoothie. But behind that golden flesh is a powerful nutritional profile that makes mangoes one of the most protective fruits for your eyes, especially when it comes to slowing the progression of cataracts. The key lies in beta-carotene, the orange pigment that gives mangoes their vibrant color. When you consume beta-carotene, your body converts it into vitamin A, a nutrient absolutely essential for the health of your cornea, retina, and particularly your lens. Vitamin A plays two major roles here. First, it helps maintain the clarity and moisture of the cornea, the outer layer of the eye. This is critical because dry, irritated eyes are more vulnerable to light damage and inflammation, which are contributing factors to lens degradation and cataract formation. Second, vitamin A supports the production and renewal of visual pigments in the retina, especially those needed for low light and night vision. Seniors often notice their night vision fading long before their daytime sight declines, and low vitamin A is frequently part of the reason. But the connection to cataracts is even more direct. The lens of the eye, like a camera lens, focuses light and needs to remain perfectly clear to function properly. When vitamin A is deficient or poorly absorbed, oxidative stress builds up faster and lens proteins start to misfold and clump together, the exact process behind cataract development. Mangoes help by slowing that process down. Their beta-carotene content works hand in hand with vitamin C and other antioxidants to reduce the stress placed on the lens over time. This can help keep the lens more transparent and delay the potential need for corrective surgery. There's also the fiber benefit, which is often overlooked, but extremely important. The fiber in mangoes supports gut health, which in turn helps with the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A and E. If your digestion isn't functioning well, your eyes may not be getting what they need, even if your diet looks healthy on the surface. Now, should you eat mangoes every day? Not necessarily, especially if you're watching your blood sugar. Mangoes are naturally high in fruit sugars, so portion control is essential. A few slices 2 or 3 times per week are enough to support your eyes without overwhelming your system. It's best to eat them with a protein or a healthy fat, like a few nuts or plain yogurt, to help stabilize absorption and prevent sugar spikes. What matters most is consistency. A well-ripened mango eaten slowly and without added syrups or flavorings can be a healing choice, not just a treat. Your eyes don't need perfection, but they do need the right nutrients delivered regularly in a form your body knows how to use. If there's one fruit that rarely gets the credit it deserves when it comes to eye health, it's the humble kiwi. Small, fuzzy, and a little tart kiwis are often dismissed as a simple garnish or an occasional add-on. But the truth is, they're packed with the very nutrients that aging eyes crave, especially when it comes to preventing or slowing cataracts. To start, kiwis are loaded with vitamin C even more than oranges. This alone gives them incredible power to fight oxidative stress, which is one of the leading causes of cataract formation. But what truly makes kiwis special is their combination of vitamin C, vitamin E, lutein, and zeaxanthin, a group of nutrients that work synergistically to protect the eye at every level. Lutein and zeaxanthin are carotenoids that naturally concentrate in the macula, the center of your retina, and also in the lens. They act like natural filters for harmful blue light, which is emitted by both sunlight and digital devices. Over time, exposure to this light can damage the proteins in your lens, leading to cloudiness and eventually cataracts. Your body doesn't produce lutein or zeaxanthin on its own. They must come from food, and kiwi delivers both in a form that's easy to absorb. Vitamin E, another antioxidant in kiwi, helps stabilize cell membranes in the eye, reducing inflammation and preserving the structure of your lens fibers. And when paired with vitamin C, it enhances the eye's natural defenses against UV damage, something many seniors become more sensitive to over time. I once had a patient named Joan. She was 69, a retired librarian with a quiet, thoughtful demeanor. She came in complaining that her vision seemed gritty and dimmer than it used to be. Her eye doctor told her she had early signs of lens aging, but nothing serious yet. We talked about her diet. Like many people, she was doing her best oatmeal salad, some fruit here and there, but nothing specifically targeted for eye health. I suggested she start adding just 1 kiwi a day, preferably in the morning, paired with some protein or mixed into her yogurt. She looked surprised. "That little fruit," she said. 6 weeks later, she came back for a follow-up. She hadn't noticed anything dramatic, but she said something that stuck with me. "I feel like my eyes aren't as tired. I don't reach for my reading glasses as often." Was it magic? Of course not, but it was a small shift in her nutrition that gave her eyes what they had been missing. If you're considering adding kiwi to your routine, go for the green variety with the small black seeds. That's where much of the lutein and vitamin C are concentrated. 1 medium kiwi a day is enough. And if the tartness bothers you, try chilling it or pairing it with a few slices of banana for balance. It's a low-sugar fruit that is high in fiber and gentle on blood sugar levels, a perfect match for seniors managing multiple health goals. The goal here isn't to overhaul your diet overnight. It's to make intentional choices, adding the right foods one at a time in ways that feel realistic and enjoyable. Because your eyes don't just need protection, they need nourishment. And kiwi is one of the best-kept secrets to provide exactly that. Now that you've learned about the 5 fruits that can help protect your eyes from cataracts, the question becomes, how can you actually use them in your day-to-day life? Because let's be honest, hearing that something is good for you isn't the same as knowing how to make it a consistent part of your routine. Especially when you're managing medications, watching your blood sugar, or just trying to keep meals simple. So here's how I guide my own patients. Start small. This isn't about filling your plate with fruit or completely changing your kitchen routine. It's about choosing just 1 or 2 of these fruits each day and rotating them throughout the week. For example, you might begin your morning with half an orange peeled and eaten whole, not juiced. A few hours later in the mid-morning, you could enjoy a sliced kiwi with a handful of walnuts. That combination gives you vitamin C, lutein, and healthy fats, a perfect team for your eyes. In the afternoon, if you feel a slump coming on, a small bowl of blueberries, about half a cup, can give you that antioxidant boost without spiking your blood sugar. And on days when you want something more tropical, try a few slices of papaya or mango after lunch with a spoonful of plain yogurt. If you're worried about sugar, remember this: when fruit is eaten whole with its natural fiber intact and paired with a protein or healthy fat, its impact on blood sugar is much more gentle. This is especially important for those managing type 2 diabetes or insulin resistance. You don't need to eat all 5 fruits every single day. That's not practical, and it's not necessary. What matters most is consistency. Building a weekly rhythm where each of these fruits makes an appearance is the key. Think of it as a rotation. 2 or 3 days a week, you might choose blueberries. Another 2 days, papaya or mango. Oranges and kiwis can be your default staples. They're easy to find, store well, and pair with almost anything. And if fresh fruit isn't always available or affordable, frozen is perfectly fine, especially for blueberries. Just make sure it's plain with no added sugar or syrup. I also encourage my patients to view these fruits as part of a larger intentional routine, not just snacks, but a component of their vision care, like brushing their teeth or taking their medications. Because when you view food as a tool for your health, not just a treat, everything changes. And remember, protecting your eyes doesn't require perfection. It just requires you to show up for your health, one small, conscious choice at a time. So as you head into tomorrow, ask yourself a simple question: which fruit will I choose today to help my eyes see more clearly tomorrow? That's how real, lasting change begins, quietly, gently, and in a way that endures. If you've made it this far, I want to say something very simple, but deeply important. You deserve to see clearly. Not just to read the newspaper or recognize a street sign, but to see the faces of the people you love. To look into your grandchild's eyes and feel that deep connection. To enjoy the vibrant colors of the world without a gray fog dulling it all. And I know what some of you might be thinking: isn't it too late for me? No, it's not. I've spent over 3 decades working with older adults, and I can tell you that the body still responds. The eyes still respond. They just need the right support, given gently and consistently. The fruits we've discussed today: oranges, papaya, blueberries, mangoes, and kiwi, are not miracle cures, but they are powerful tools. Tools that nourish your lens, protect your retina, and help slow the damage that time and light can cause. You don't need to do everything. You just need to do something, and do it with intention. Even if it's just adding 1 new fruit this week. Even if it's just replacing 1 sugary snack with something your eyes will thank you for. Because the truth is, You are not powerless, and you are certainly not alone. Millions of seniors face the same fears about vision loss, the same worries about dependence, the same questions about the future. But small steps taken today can still shape tomorrow, even after 60, even after 70, even after 80. So thank you truly for spending this time with me. It tells me you care about your health, and that means something. If this video helped you in even a small way, please consider clicking like. It helps us reach more people just like you. If you know someone who is struggling with their vision, please share this with them. It might be the nudge they need to take that first step. And if you'd like to keep learning how to protect your health naturally, I invite you to subscribe and join our growing community. And finally, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these fruits are you going to try this week? Your story might just inspire someone else to keep going. Take care of your eyes. They've been taking care of you your whole life,